Zinedine Zidane back to Real Madrid. We know a little bit more about that. We know that the president Florentino Perez called Zidane 5 days ago. That's just after the worst week in the history of Real Madrid. And Zidane was like, let me think about it. But he has said as well, I couldn't say no to the president. So it wasn't an immediate no. It wasn't an immediate yes. But it took him not long to decide that he still had the passion in him and he could do things for Real Madrid. A lot of things are going to be affected by it, starting with Solari, who's been offered the possibility of staying at Real Madrid, and he deserves that because everything he's done it for the club. And Isco, who of course in his third season with Zidane, you saw the best Isco of his career perhaps. Before that, he was like player 12, 13 for Zidane, but in the last season, he even started in the Champions League final against Liverpool. Well, that's a chance for him to prove his worth. Obviously, one of the legacies of Solari is that the likes of Reguilón and Vinicius have shown that they belong to the first team. Absolutely, they do. Even Fede Valverde, I will add there. Ceballos has done better than he had done before. So all in all, it's a squad that can be taken advantage of, but things will have to change. And the two big names will be Marcelo. Does he still have the hunger? Of course, he has all the respect of Zinedine Zidane. He was absolutely crucial in the years of Zinedine Zidane, but he's going to have to show that he's still got the passion. And Zinedine Zidane won't have Cristiano Ronaldo. That is another one that makes the whole move of him coming back very risky because he won't be able to reproduce what it was a historical time of Real Madrid, 3 consecutive Champions Leagues. But he loves the club, loves Florentino Perez, and loved the idea of doing something with this team, which he feels is quite close to his heart, of course. But the other one is Gareth Bale. Now, this is an interesting one because Zinedine Zidane wanted Bale out in the summer and didn't manage to get his way. Now he's come back, and one of the things that he got was more authority from the club to take decisions. He won't be the only one taking them, but he will be part of those decisions. And I think the possibility is that he will try to get Gareth Bale out of the club. They don't get on. They are completely different personalities. They are water and oil. They're in the same place, but not together. Gareth Bale wanted somebody to look after him, to put an arm around his shoulder to say, you're the best in the world, come on, give me more. Zinedine Zidane gave silence. But this was at the end of a journey in which basically Zinedine Zidane was looking after Bale. Bale was giving him goals in important games, but it got to a point where perhaps Zidane felt that Gareth Bale wasn't as passionate as he should be about the job in hand, wasn't correcting things, wasn't improving when he was put on the bench, the few times that he was put on the bench, more often in the last season. I think basically what we've seen here is a player who is disenchanted, disillusioned, deflated. So to get the best of Gareth Bale, you're going to have to just put that arm around the shoulder. But the first option may be to try to sell him, and it won't be easy because he earns about 12 million euros net. 75 million euros is perhaps what Real Madrid will want for him. It's going to be 30 in July. So straight away, Manchester United will think twice about putting that kind of money towards the direction of Real Madrid and the direction of Gareth Bale. So what else? I mean, Chelsea, if they had the possibility of signing, how about a swap with Hazard? All that will appear in the equation. I feel that Gareth Bale doesn't want to leave. Gareth Bale would like to stay at Real Madrid, but he also will have to show that he's in love with the game again, enough to actually improve and challenge himself and get to the level that he can be. So those are things that we'll be discussing week by week because next season for Real Madrid starts tomorrow with the first training session of, that will be today, with the first training session of Zinedine Zidane. That's the beginning of the season, of next season for Real Madrid. Playing for nothing, 11 games before the end of the season, but a lot of questions to be answered and a lot of things to change. Zinedine Zidane has said it. Zizou is coming with the idea of changing things. So interesting times ahead for Real Madrid. Darren Kerr is saying, can you give an insight how Monchi, Sanjay and Emery will work together? Do Sanjay and Monchi know each other? Sanier knows everybody, and I know in a couple of meetings in draws, for instance, UEFA draws of competitions, Sanier has been there, Monchi has been there as well. So I'm pretty sure they've spoken to each other. I'm sure as well that the Arsenal will want Monchi to join them. I wonder if this is going to be after the season is over, in which case it feels like Arsenal are a little bit late for the summer anyway. There's enough information being used by everybody, and the most important thing is what Monchi will bring is a synergy with everybody else around there. I think it's those that have stayed have got connection and emotional, but also an understanding of the game quite similar. Those that have left is more about they did not share that. It's not that they're not good at the job, it's just that they did not share that. That synergy is important. Wanting to work for each other is important. And quite clearly, if Monchi joins Arsenal, you're talking about a top quality director of football, one of the superstars of that role, of course, in the past, wanted by Real Madrid. And somebody that has got a lot of information and a fantastic scouting system. So I think Arsenal have always had a very good scout system, not just a very good, an extraordinary scout system. The problem has been the decision making. They were slow in taking decisions, in approaching players, but the information has been there, and if it hasn't happened, it's because the slowness on decision, but also perhaps the lack of money. Others have taken players because they have a bigger financial power. But from the days of when Arsenal first started travelling around and seeing the likes of Messi and Cesc and Piqué, and they wanted the three of them. That's what they wanted, the three of them. I spoke to the three of them. In fact, Piqué travelled to London to meet Arsene Wenger. Eventually, he went for Manchester United. Cesc agreed, of course. And Messi, his dad said, look, we're not leaving Barcelona for now, but let's keep in touch. So from then on, Arsenal have been at the forefront of the information, of managing that kind of information of the players that are available to them. It's just, as I said, other things have stopped those players coming. Magical Firmino says that I constantly ignore his questions. Sorry. And he says, can Marcelo Gallardo replace Pochettino in Spurs? I don't think Pochettino will leave Spurs. I don't think it doesn't look that way anyway. It looks like Manchester United are going to keep Solskjaer. But beyond all that, what Pochettino has always said is go with the flow. Why worry about things that are not in your control? And his future is not in his control. There's no buyout clause. Somebody could pay 30, 40 million pounds and Levy still say no. So it's about focusing on the job in hand and trying to just take the team to the top four, which is the real target, has always been the target this season. Still punching above the weight. So I feel that there's no need to replace anybody. In Marcelo Gallardo, is somebody that I'm keeping an eye on, and I think he's got too many tags. He's been put the Pep Guardiola tag, the Pochettino tag. People are saying he's like them, and I see somebody that needs to continue on the way he's doing things. Certainly, his teams try to play, but they doesn't always come off. I need to and will do look closer to Marcelo, and I'll actually try to talk to him at some point because I think he's an interesting guy, and it would be good that he comes to the Premier League at some point or La Liga at some point. But at the moment, I don't see anybody going for him, but certainly somebody that I would recommend if that was the case, because there's a lot of good coaching, good decision, and a good style on his teams. So, what is the key thing that will keep Pochettino? That's what Kay Lindstrom is saying. With Spurs transfers, new players, new stadium, or more saying with clubs being a club football more than a business side. I think it's been interesting what's happened with Manchester United, and that kind of is linked to Spurs, because talking to few coaches about this and managers, they realize that it doesn't matter how much effort you put into finding out if players have slept, in rotations, in the physical side of things, in improving players. The one single thing that takes the team to get better and to reach the targets is that everybody goes in the same direction. Solskjaer has proved it. He said, all right, guys, with his smile, come with me. And he's done it in a nice way. Everybody feels important, and everybody gone that way. and look at the results. Yeah, okay, against Arsenal they lost. They deserve more, perhaps, but that's something that Pochettino has done all this time and will continue doing. And won't forget, learning from what's happening at United, learning from his own experience, that's a priority. Forget about the future. Forget about the next thing. Now, to improve, you need players, certainly. Is there money? I doubt it. I doubt there is money to get good players, very good players. So I'm not sure there's going to be many changes at Spurs. So it's about improving what you have. If one of the players leaves, say Eriksen eventually goes to Real Madrid, use that money cleverly and move sharply in the market. But they won't be able to compete in the transfer market with other teams. That's why we're saying all the time, this is a little bit of a miracle. Now, I wrote a tweet, was it yesterday, about what happened with Jack Grealish and the fan that came and hit him. It was something like, in social media, lack of respect for the other, lack of empathy for the neighbour, extreme views as the only one possible. Did you really think that was staying in social media? Social media is us, and the most stupid of us are taking it all into the real world too. Perhaps it wasn't the best written tweet while I was about to go on Spanish television for La Liga TV. But what I was trying to say is that we think that who is behind social media trolling is just evil people. We think that the guy that came in and punched Jack in the face from behind is just an evil person. All I'm saying is that's us, has always been us. And yes, all these actions have happened, of course, before social media. What I'm saying is that social media seems to be giving us the impression, or help us build the impression, that nothing has consequences. And as such, the problem is that if nothing has consequences, you can say whatever you want. And I just wonder if that's moved into the real world and you start doing whatever you want. So it's a very complex situation, of course. There's a lot of frustration around. There is the sense that there is no direction from our leaders. There is no place in the world for some of us. There's all that. There's that frustration that gets transformed into something else. There is also the feeling that you can get away with a lot of things. That if you don't trust your authority, then you can go and do whatever you want. There is lack of empathy. You can see it, certainly social media, but you can see it in the streets as well. Parallel to that, there is another world, and I'm very optimistic. I think people look after each other more than ever. There's no doubt about that. We are living the best world we've ever had in terms of facilities, in terms of distribution of richness. It can get much better. It needs to be much better. I go to walk the streets of Manchester, and with this I finish. And I see a lot of people sleeping rough in the streets, and I cannot believe that a country like the UK will allow that to happen. And I see a lot of robberies where I am in Barcelona against tourists, and that also comes on the back of crime. That comes on the back of people needing, or being criminals, but needing as well. There's a lot of inequality. But I would like people to understand each other a little bit more. And more or less, that's the point I was trying to make. Right. The last one, it says, I have to respectfully and firmly disagree. That's what Daniel Joshua says. With the Manchester United squad is better than Manchester City's statement. What are you predicating this on, may I ask? You're giving me an idea. I'm going to prepare a video of why I mean by the fact that Manchester United has got a stronger squad than Manchester City. Results wouldn't suggest that. The form this season wouldn't suggest that. But I'm going to look deeply into it and come back with a video on all that. Meanwhile, subscribe, keep an eye on more Ask Guillems and more things that are happening in the YouTube channel. There's more interviews like the ones you've seen so far that are going to be published soon. So until then, bye-bye. See ya.